So what's one word that you would use to describe 2020? And then tell us why you chose that word.
The word that I would use would be challenging. This year has challenged us in ways that we've never imagined. They've challenged our finances. It's challenged our health with this pandemic. You know, it's challenged our emotions with the civil unrest and the young men and women that were killed at the hands of the police. And it's challenged our relationships because of the fact that we have been in a state of stress for almost an entire year. It's almost as though many of us are now suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome because of the fact that it's just been non-stop. We have not had a break. We've not had a break especially from the pandemic. And then we've had to deal all of this on top of it being an election year. So this has just been a year that has challenged us in ways that we never imagined. And I think that for the overall majority of the year, we have met that challenge.
So let me ask you this, Chairman. How was dealing with COVID-19, as well as all the social injustices and police brutality that we saw nationally this summer? We have protests right here in our own city, some of which made national news. And talk to us about that, especially give us a perspective as a Black man. How has this pandemic just really, and social justice and police brutality just impacted you? Talk to us about that.
As a Black man, I feel as though all of the injustices that Black people deal with have finally come to the forefront. And when I say that, let's talk about the pandemic. Well, we know that there are healthcare inequities in the Black community. That is no mystery. However, for the overall public and for the world audience, they don't necessarily see that because they see America as this shiny jewel on the hill. Well, now the cover's been lifted and you're getting to see all of the bumps and bruises of America. And so, again, with the healthcare inequities, meaning that we've had a lot of African Americans don't have access to not only affordable healthcare, but adequate healthcare. And it showed with the pandemic with a greater percentage of Black people dying as opposed to their white counterparts. And so now we have this pandemic, and then we have Mr. George Floyd, Brother Floyd, who was killed by a police officer with his, basically choked to death. And so now we already have this sense of hopeless and helplessness. And now we're seeing this on national TV because most of us are at home due to the pandemic. And there was a level of anger that I've never felt before. And I think it's because of the fact that George Floyd was not the first. There have been so many before him.
And so for me, there was just a lot of, I think, excitement that people recognize that the issues of police brutality affect both women and men. I think that, you know, sometimes the things that have happened to women have been in the kind of in the background, but I feel like this year, for whatever reason, people really have taken to heart that, you know, both male and female lives matter.
Yes.
And Black lives matter, whether it be a Black woman or a Black man. And so I feel that this year, something's really clicked into a lot of people to say we have to really see what's going on just in the Black community as a whole.
Something happened this year that hasn't happened in the past. Normally when we have these instances of police violence, you see Black people and people of color mobilizing and demonstrating and they demonstrate for a while and then it kind of dies down. Well, this time you not only saw Black people demonstrating, you not only saw people of color demonstrating, but white people joined in great numbers. I mean, there were cities where there may not have even been a Black population, where they were having Black Lives Matter demonstrations. And so that's an amazing feat because of the fact that For far too long, the idea is that everyone should know that Black lives matter just
Yes.
as much as anyone else's lives.
Yes.
And now you actually see those who are not Black showing that they value the fact that Black lives do matter. Very powerful.